Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The inhabitant of the Arabian Peninsula, the desert dweller, nomadic tribe, the scorching heat, the scarcity of resources, they are the Arabian people. Their material possessions were meager, but they were proud of their linguistic skill, meticulous in their choice of words and specific in their speech. They adore oratory, diction, and effective communication, skillful in their art of articulation of finer thoughts, and quite adroit in their expressing of ideas. Words were their wares, and eloquence was their forte. Composing prose and poetry was their passion. They were quite fluent and eloquent. Rather, they weighed each other in their ability to speak effectively, to speak fluently, and to speak eloquently. Their literary skills intoxicated them with a glaring arrogance and self worship. These were the people, half a dozen people of the peninsula who knows how to write during the time of the Prophet Muhammad. But the high standard of literature, the high standard of poetry, the high standard of language, they are our people. In fact, right before Muhammad, they all died. The great people who left the literature. Among them was Sab'at Mu'allaqat, the seven were hanged in the Kaaba because of their standard, because of their quality. They were hanged in the Kaaba. So this gives you an idea that how much eloquent these Arab people were, how much love and affection these people had for the language, and how they mastered the language. In fact, they call themselves Arab and they call other people Ajam, mean they are suffering from speech impediment. So it's like before coming the revelation, the Quran, they people were completely ready to receive the revelation. Their language level, the standard, the in-depth knowledge of the language was there. So the Quran comes like a jigsaw puzzle. It comes and it fixes and the picture has completed. The expression, the vocabulary in the Quran, the expression used by God Almighty in the Quran, nothing was new for them. Whenever it recited to them, they were able to understand it completely, totally. So that's how the Quran, when it came, they were fully aware of the poetry. They know what prose are. But when they heard the Quran is nothing like that. The Quran is not a poetry. It's not a book of prose. But it draws the qualities of both poetry and prose. It is more elegant than poetry and is more fluent than prose. This is the world of God, complete, a comprehensive. And the words of the Quran were so effective to its listener that it goes straight to the heart. The word of the Quran has the ability to conquer the heart and mind. So, because of the teaching of the Quran, the people turned against it. And one of them was the great person of Arabia, the unparalleled poet, the most eloquent, the final authority, the high roller of Makkah, a wealthy Sabrite, rather pagan to the core, and inveterate enemy of Prophet Muhammad, such as the person Walid ibn Mugheera, the father of Khalid ibn al-Walid, a very rich person, a leader of his tribe, and people give high importance to his words. They respect him a lot. A wealthiest person, a rich person, acquiring a high position in the society. When he come across Muhammad Sallallahu and he heard the Quran, so he come back to his people after listening the Quran, and his people ask him that you went and raja'ata biwajhin lam tazhab bihi, and you have come back with a changed face. And then he told his own people that والله لقد سمعت من محمد كلاما ما سمعت مثله قط. يعني I heard something from Muhammad. I never heard such a thing in my life. ما هو من كلام الإنس ولا من كلام الجن. It's not a human words. It's not a poetry. It's not a human handiwork. It's not a word of jinn. وإن له لحلاوة. It is very sweet. وإن عليه لطلاوة. It's very charming. وإن أعلاه لمثمر. And the simile of it is like a tree, the top of which is fruitful. وإن أسفله لمغدق. The bottom of it is abundance. وإنه ليعلو ولا يعلى عليه. So what goes on top of it, it brings us down, and what comes under it, it crushes. Nothing like it. Uncomparable. When people heard that, they thought that he is impressed by Muhammad's teaching and he may accept Islam. The news reached to Abu Jahl. He came to his house. So they were all like brainstorming with each other, like what to say, how to refute the teaching of Prophet Muhammad, what to say about it. They say, okay, let's say that he is a sahir. He say, no, we know what is sihr, we know what is magic. It's not a sihr, it's not a magic. He say, also, I can say, he is a kahin, a fortune teller. He say, no, we know about this. He's not a fortune teller. Then he say, okay, let's label him as a majnoon. He say, no, we know the majnoon people, the crazy, the mad people. He doesn't acquire such qualities. He doesn't have these things. So he is refusing all these attributes that they were coined to label Prophet Muhammad with. So he said, okay, give me time. So he went back home and tried to think for the answers, satisfy his own people. So he come back to his house, and Allah sent down revelation to Prophet Muhammad in Surah Mudassir. ذَرْنِي وَمَنْ خَلَقْتُ وَحِيدًا. So Allah says, leave this person over to me, whom I created bare and alone, and leave him to me. Now I will personally deal with this guy. وَجَعَلْتُ لَهُ مَالًا مَمْدُودًا. To whom I granted resources in abundance. وَبَنِينَ شُهُودًا. And I gave him sons to be by his side. وَمَهَدتُّ لَهُ تَمْهِيدًا. And I made life for him smooth and easy and comfortable. ثُمَّ يَطْمَعُ أَنْ أَزِيدَ. Yet he is greedy that I should add more, I should give him more. He is greedy. كَلَّا إِنَّهُ كَانَ لِآيَاتِنَا عَنِيدًا. By no means for our sign he is refractory. سَأُرْهِقُهُ صَعُودًا. Soon I will visit him with the amount of calamity. إِنَّهُ فَكَّرَ وَقَدَّرَ. Then he thought and he determined. فَقُتِلَ كَيْفَ قَدَّرَ. Woe, how he determined. ثُمَّ قُتِلَ كَيْفَ قَدَّرَ. Yea, woe, how he thought. ثُمَّ نَظَرَ. Then he reflected. ثُمَّ عَبَسَ وَبَصَرَ. Then he frowned and scowled. ثُمَّ أَدْبَرَ وَاسْتَكْبَرَ. Then he turns back and turns haughty. فقال إن هذا إلا سحر يؤثر إن هذا إلا قول البشر سأصليه سقر وما أدراك ما سقر لا تبقي ولا تذر لواحة للبشر عليها 19. And after that he started thinking that he is a magician, that this is the world of men. So because of his arrogance, that first he denied that this is not a human words. He denied that this is a magic. But yet again, when he come to his people, he said this is magic. It breaks the family ties. It's a magic. So for his arrogance, that knowingly, intentionally, that he refused what he knows 100% that this is not. He knows this is not the world of human being, this is not the world of Prophet Muhammad, yet he says, in hada illa qawl al-bashar. He knows this is not a magic. He refused that earlier, yet again he said this is magic. So for his arrogance, Sa'uslihi saqar, he will be put in the hellfire. And what do you know what the hellfire is? It leaves not, it spareth not. So this is a reward of a such a person who's turned arrogance and turn against the Quran. When these Arab people, when they come across the Quran and when they heard the Quran, they were awestruck. They were all stunned, amazed. Even the staunchest enemies of Islam, when they heard Quran, they were dumbfounded, flabbergasted. They couldn't believe that such thing could be more eloquent than what they know. In fact, they were going, though they did not accept the message, yet again they were amazed by the beauty and they were trying to go to the Muslim houses to listen it. Their instinct convinced them that such a noble discourse could only be a divine diction. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the book of Allah, a complete, a comprehensive, a total guidance, a complete code of life. So it is incumbent upon each and every person who seeks the dignity of this world and the bliss of the hereafter to change, to mold his life according to its teaching and pay homage to the magnificent who create it, who safeguard it against all type of violation and impurities. Thank you very much.